All right, family. Welcome to book review number 14, I believe. Book review 14. This one's going to be on the shorter side of things, but I am very happy with this book. Today we are going to talk about Vedic Astrology by Discover Press. Yeah, it's like not written by one person apparently. It's written by Discover Press. Yeah, so let's get into it. First off, why did I pick up this book? So as I've gotten older, I've been more and more drawn to astrology. Now, I don't know if you'd call me like a gung-ho astrology person. I don't really believe in natal charts and any of that, but I do believe that we have like an intimate connection with the stars around us, and if we pay attention, we can notice the qualities that are different in an eclipse versus an equinox versus a solstice versus a full moon versus a new moon. You know, these phenomena each interact with us all in different ways. I've been interested in learning more about that, but I know the world of astrology is so watered down, and there's all these different systems. So which one do you pick? Which one's the right one? How much credit can you give it? etc. Like, do these people really know what they're talking about? So I decided to look into Greek astrology for a little. That was honestly seemed like a bunch of hogwash to me. The Vedic people always seem more dialed than the Greeks anyway, and they always seem like they knew a lot more. They had more intricate structures that lasted a lot longer. So I'm like, okay, I'll go look into the Vedic system, because there's also the Chinese system, which I haven't tried to explore yet. So what initially really stuck out about the Vedic system to me of astrology was the name itself. Now, it's called Jyotish. I hope I'm saying that right. There isn't really a word for astrology in Sanskrit because they had a different understanding of it. Jyotish is the science of light, is what they call it. So you're not exactly studying the exact stars themselves, you're studying the quality of light that they emit. And that already to me was way cooler, because like it's not just about like a star looking nice. It's about an energy that's different stars may have. The gases that the star's burning might emit a different quality of light that affects you differently, and so on and so forth. So I was really into that. I was really into studying light and whatnot and its effects on people. So that already was what stood out to me. Now, in terms of the book itself, I couldn't ask for a better book for an intro to the subject. It's really short and really easy to read, but really just gets the basics down and explains exactly what you want to know. So towards the beginning, I highlighted this because this explains a major difference between Western and Vedic astrology. This is on page 4. Western astrology uses the tropical calendar, which is a fixed system that defines the year and therefore the dates of each of the astrological signs. Vedic astrology uses the sidereal system, which uses a corrective system called ayanamasas to account for the precession of the equinoxes. So I didn't know how to say that word, but you can kind of see a little bit of the differences. I think all the zodiac signs are kind of shifted over a little. So normally in Greek astrology, I'd be a Capricorn, but in the Vedic one, I'm a Sag. I read the descriptions of each of what the Vedics said each star sign brings, and I gotta say I identified with the Sagittarius description in the Vedic astrology more than I did with the Capricorn description in the Greek. That being said, I think I don't give that stuff too much credence. I just try to pay attention to the stuff I know that affects me: full moons, eclipses, equinoxes, solstices, because those are the ones where it's like really obvious. So it gives little descriptions of your sign and your element that goes with it. Later on, we get to another chapter 3, the elements, and it goes on page 31. But one of the key differences between Vedic and Western astrology is that Western astrology only acknowledges 4 elements, excluding space. So I guess space is an element in Vedic astrology. 1, it says, in most cases, both in Ayurveda and Vedic astrology, a person is strongly influenced by 2 of the elements and lacks balance of the other 2 forces. You know, everyone has a different element that they're associated with, fire, water, this, that. Then it gets into the next dimension of Vedic astrology, which would be, God, I am so bad at saying this word, Navagrahas, which is the Vedic word for the planets. So then it gets into the planets, and then it gets into chapter 5, the lunar mansions, nakshatras. I've heard this one, nakshatras. So, on page 62. In Vedic astrology, there are not only 12 houses as there are in Western astrology, but there are also 27 lunar mansions, which aren't to be confused with the houses. I definitely want to live in a lunar mansion at one point. Anyways, this is one of the most significant distinctions between Western astrology and Vedic astrology because it has to do with the sidereal system, which is used in the Vedic but not Western astrology. So there's lunar mansions, and then after that, you get into the houses, the bhavas. I don't really understand this house system at all. I just don't understand what I'm reading. I didn't understand it with Greeks. The Greek astrology, I still didn't understand it when I read the Vedic one. It just gets a little too convoluted for me, which is like why I've never been like gung-ho about studying astrology. Just like all of us have seen so many more BS astrologers than legit ones, and like, how does some guy 1,000 years ago now know how this phenomenon is going to affect me? He doesn't know my diet. He doesn't know the work environments. He doesn't know this, that. Like, I don't know. But if you can just like take what you can verify and what you can prove and just only pay attention to those things, then you can see the power of astrology. And really what it comes down to is just seeing the patterns, paying attention to them, and over time, years and years, you'll kind of start to see how these different cycles make you feel. Like, I didn't necessarily know how eclipses made me feel until I actually started going out of my way to watch the eclipses, go to the best places, and all of a sudden, you know, those are the things I look forward most to in life now, you know? Never miss a good party during an eclipse. Anyways, with that being said, that is my review of Vedic Astrology, a beginner's guide to the fundamentals of Jyotish and Hindu astrology. I absolutely recommend this book. It's quick, it's easy, it's cheap, and it teaches you a lot. I hope this review is helpful, and I will look forward to talking to you later. Be well.